company Jant B.
Are you a vet? Yes, sir. I can take you down to Vet Place Center and then and start you as an enrollment.
And help for homeless veterans. Next on Black Nouveau.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Black Nouveau. I'm Milton, Dockery.
And I'm Faithe. We're glad you could join us. On this edition, we'll profile company Jant B, an African dance troupe currently thrilling American audiences, and preview the upcoming 2010 Fresh Coast Classic.
Tom Burrell, author of Brainwashed, Challenging the Myth of Black Inferiority, joins us to discuss his book and the online Are You Brainwashed quiz.
But first, as we celebrate Veterans Day this week and weekend, let us remember that many of our veterans leave the armed services with issues and problems. According to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, about 1/3 of the homeless adults in the United States served in the military. L.C. Satterfield, himself a veteran, shows us some of Milwaukee's efforts to combat that concern.
They were once fighters, trained to overcome obstacles. But now their battlefield is here at home. Their enemy is depression, homelessness, helplessness, and hopelessness. But a ray of hope has been offered through an initiative called Peer Outreach, working in harmony with Vets Place Central. Once a week, in the early morning, volunteer Dwight Weston loads a van with hot coffee and sandwiches. He heads out scouting the streets of Milwaukee.
After my first time out here in '97, when in the wintertime, when it was way below zero and the wind chill factor was high, to find out there were families that were out here, veteran families and homeless people, that were evicted or lost their place, their shelter, and it wasn't drug or alcohol related. That took my heart, and to see some people living in tents without any water or bathroom privileges. So ever since then, this is my pet peeve. This is what I call giving back to the community. I just asked, would you care for a cup of coffee or a sandwich or something like that? And then once when they gain their trust, then I asked them, are you a veteran? You know, as we mature,
yeah, we get older.
I didn't say nothing about getting older.
His humor can sometimes cause the veterans to forget about their situation temporarily, but never for very long. When asked what he felt society should know about their plight, one veteran answered,
I'm homeless. That's the main thing. I'm homeless. I've been out here trying to see if I can get into some kind of government housing.
Where's Vet Place Central?
Right down here on 34th and Wells. Have you been down? Are you a vet?
Yes, sir.
What was your MOS?
16 Romeo.
Are you, do you have clothes in the facility right now? You have clothes here?
Yeah.
I can take you down to Vet Place Center and then and start you as an enrollment, and if you accept it, they'll bring you back down here and get your clothes.
Thing is,
or if I see anybody that I think might want a free cup of coffee or a sandwich, I give it to them. But my objective is to look for homeless veterans to try to get them in a program.
Many veterans have found the program at Vets Place Central, located in Milwaukee, to be a life-changing experience.
I hit rock bottom. I really didn't know what to do, who to turn to. And I had been here before and I left. And I thought about coming back, and they accepted me gratefully. And I'm so grateful for that. But since I've been here, my life has picked up. I had mental problems, and I'm getting all that taken care of.
The Center for Veteran Issues was started in the late 80s in recognition of a need to offer programs to assist veterans who are struggling with homelessness. As such, we sought, funds to obtain this facility here, which contains 72 transitional beds. And what I mean by transitional beds, veterans usually stay here somewhat less than 2 years. And at that time, they should have transitioned back into the general population with employment or with a revenue stream, some form of income.
I've had knee problems for the last 25 years, 30 years. I broke my kneecap right before I got out the service. And it's been a situation that throughout the years has caused my left knee to get worse and just being out of line, out of position. I was working a job as a maintenance man at Aldrich Chemicals. I lost that job, and during the time period that I was off, I had been experiencing back and leg problems, and those problems progressed. And through time, I was realizing it was becoming more difficult to find a job that would be a right fit for me. And eventually, it wound me up here at Vets Place Central.
I have contacts with employers and other community service organizations who assist with employment, and we make the referrals. In the meantime, we assist veterans with resume writing and development of job skills that they may need for a particular job, and make the referral.
All this work is done to fulfill a military creed.
Well, there's a whole, military adage, if you will, you never leave your troops behind.
We never leave a veteran behind. And that's one of our models is taking care of our homeless veterans.
In Brainwashed, Challenging the Myth of Black Inferiority, author Tom Burrell explores the history of stereotypical images and messages that have become institutionalized worldwide. The marketing communications pioneer also has the Are You Brainwashed online quiz, and he joins us now on Black Nouveau. Mr. Burrell, welcome, sir.
Yes, welcome. Welcome, thank you very much.
Mr. Burrell, during your tenure in marketing, what factors did you observe that led you to write this book?
Well, I spent about 45 years in marketing communications, 35 years of which I owned and operated Burrell Communications. We focused on the African American consumer market. And one of the first things that really caught my attention was the discovery of how we inordinately spend our money on depreciating goods and services, particularly goods, items that depreciate as soon as they walk out of the store. Why, I asked, do we spend all our money on things that basically demonstrate or seek to demonstrate to others who we are and what we own? And I came to realize that it came from how we came here, stripped of our status, stripped of just about everything, our names, our religion, and so forth. And what we are essentially doing is trying to buy back our somebodyness. That was the beginning of my understanding that black people are not dark-skinned white people by virtue of how we came to this nation in a whole different way that led to different kinds of attitudes and behaviors.
Okay. Now, your overall theme in this book is that slavery led to the myth of black inferiority.
Yes.
Can you elaborate?
Well, what happened is that we were basically sold a bill of goods. This nation had a very profound contradiction to resolve, and that is the contradiction between slavery and freedom. They decided that they needed to start a democracy, but they also felt that they could not have a democracy without slavery. So that contradiction was resolved with somebody having a great idea for them, not so great for us, and that is let's just say that these people are not human beings. If we can establish that they are less than human, then we have a clear path to this whole idea called democracy. And thus began the most pronounced marketing communications campaign of all time. It's the selling of the myth of black inferiority. So that's how it started.
Let's take this a little deeper. Where did the founding fathers get these stereotypes and myths from?
They created them. They took some of the literature, some of the thinking from the Enlightenment thinkers. They borrowed, they put together the code, and then they looked for scientific, religious justification and reinforcement of those codes. The way we look, the way we act, the application of the properties of laziness and docility and simple-mindedness and caricatured physicality. Those are the things that they took and said, we have to codify this so that everybody can understand what we are saying when we talk about blacks being inferior. Blacks will understand it, and so will whites.
And thus, slavery becomes a positive good for black people.
Slavery becomes a positive good for black people because if you are indeed feeling inferior, then the idea of somebody else taking care of you, even though they mistreat you, becomes okay, especially if it's sanctioned by religion.
Okay. Now, there have been numerous studies on black inferiority. What makes your study stand out?
The thing that makes our study stand out is that we are connecting the dots. We take all of the major pathologies that exist today, broken homes, living up to the images of sexual stereotypes. We take all of those things and we trace them back to their origins in slavery. And then we do something that nobody else has done. We then go towards solutions. Okay. And we talk about how we can move out of this situation that we're in, where we're at the bottom of every good list and at the top of every bad list, and move forward to get out of it.
Now, your book looks at 10 questions, and one of those questions is, why do we continually perpetuate black stereotypes? Briefly, why do we?
We perpetuate them because we have been intergenerationally conditioned to perpetuate them. Okay. We were brainwashed at the beginning to believe that we were less than. Like any good brainwashing, what happens is that the brainwashed become the brainwashers. We buy into it, we get it. Okay, you've told us we're inferior, you've told us in so many ways and for so long, we believe it. Now we will basically take over and perpetuate it ourselves. That is essentially where we are right now.
Briefly again, another question that you deal with, or a couple of questions that you deal with. Why we keep killing each other, and why are we killing ourselves? Briefly, why?
We're killing each other because we were taught to hate ourselves and to devalue our lives. And that was done by their devaluing our lives and reinforcing through media and through media propaganda the lack of value of our lives. And so we are obviously angry, we are obviously frustrated, and we take it out on ourselves. There was a time when we were being killed by others at a tremendous rate. At some point, we said, okay, we get it. And now 94% of our young people being killed are being killed by each other.
Okay. Mr. Burrell, thank you for joining us, sir.
You're welcome.
Join us next week as we continue this conversation.
This is Compagnie Jant, an all-male dance troupe from Senegal. production they performed was called Waktan. Waktan is a piece that represents African traditional dance being used in a contemporary way. The idea for the piece came from the meeting of the G8, the meeting of the presidents.
Concept of this choreography, because we're trying to be like a president, to be like a politician, like the musician can represent like the journalist. African, they dress like African people. That's why the first dance we use, the choreographer prefer to use like African dress, and even the dance also means the dance of knowledge, you know, you have to be like, there is after the suit, and there is Dunumba. Dunumba, we call it, it's the dance of the strong man, and it's kind of battle. They're talking and they're answering. That also is the moment where you start to show the separation of the people. I got my group, maybe we can make some business, and the other group is there, we don't care about them. And so that's the philosophy why we use the suit on that piece.
And this piece and some others have no music.
The rhythm is not coming only from the drum. The rhythm is inside. And at the school, they learn how to dance with the rhythm. You have to know your body, to feel all the body. And each body has a rhythm. And that rhythm, you can dance with it. It's from that rhythm, the drum take the rhythm.
The movements you see are traditional, but traditional as it has changed over time.
Traditional means something was transmitted generation by generation. Each generation take impregnation from that and mark also a feeling to what he has to pass by other. I get it, I understand, I master it, and I put it also in it, my feeling also, and I give, and so on.
This piece, Waktan, portrays men coming together to fight, debate over power.
Sometimes you get like 20 countries from Africa meeting in the same place, living in the same place, dancing, following the same philosophy. And that brings us from the politic way, we're always talking about the unity, African unity. And from the dance, we can say we got like the African unity. And that's why this piece we're trying by the Emu to share that with the world also.
The philosophy of the school is to be really rooted, because like a tree, when a tree is very rooted, the tree can be more high, taller. It's the same, and you can be now open to other culture.
Yes, open to other cultures while not forgetting their own. Jant means sunshine.
It's like a light to put everybody clearly. You can see everybody and you can't hide something.
Company, Jant.
In our recent segment on the Arts and Funk Festival, we mistakenly identified Mike Nolte as the Best in Show Artist winner. Mike was a festival winner, but he won first place in the Community Artist Award. The Best in Show Artist winner was Della Wells, and we'll have a profile of Miss Wells in an upcoming program.
If it's November, it must be Fresh Coast Classic time, that annual mix of basketball and HBCU college recruitment. Joining us to discuss this year's event are Alderman Willie Wade and Russ Thomas, General Manager of Fresh Coast Classic. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello. Thank you.
Alderman Wade, the venue is different this year, Wisconsin Lutheran College. What else is different about the Classic this year?
Well, the major difference is our partnership with Milwaukee Public Schools. They had an event, the Suburban City Basketball Challenge, that they were doing during the same weekend. So we felt it was a good idea for us to collaborate our efforts and that way enhance the event. Along with the partnership with MPS, we also have the Battle of the Bands. So there'll be several MPS high schools that will have a Battle of the Band contest, which should be very exciting for people in the community to watch. And also through a relationship with Holy Redeemer Church, Holy Redeemer Choir will be doing a gospel showcase on the Saturday championship game. So those are two community buy-ins that are enhancements for the Fresh Coast Classic this year.
So we have music, we have rhythm, we might have some blues and gospel, okay?
Yes.
Russ, speak to how MPS is involved.
Faithe, well, this is our first year partnering with the Fresh Coast Classic organization, and we're delighted that they've asked us to be part of it. And as Willie said, we've had our own tournament, and we thought that we would join forces with the Fresh Coast Classics to enhance this Thanksgiving basketball showcase event. And we are bringing in 8 high school basketball games to enhance the 4 historically black college games. And it should be a doozy of 2 days of basketball, along with the other activities that Willie has highlighted.
So you have basketball, high school basketball first, and then you have the college games, or what's the mix look like?
The mix is we have 2 high school basketball games, and the college games are sandwiched in the middle, and then we have some nightcap for high school basketball games in the evening, 6 and 8, both nights.
Well, I really like this, the way it sounds. We have some local activity going on, integrated with, you know, bringing some fans to Milwaukee and the HBCUs. What teams are playing this year?
For the high school piece, we have Madison High School versus St. Francis, Vincent High School versus Brown Deer. That'll be the 2 high school games on Friday. And then we have Bowie State University versus Johnson C. Smith University, which will be one of the college games on that Friday. And then the other college game is Clark Atlanta University, who are the defending champions of the Fresh Coast Classic. And they'll be playing against St. Paul College at 4 o'clock, which will be the second college game. And then the nightcap, we have Milwaukee Hamilton High School versus Whitnall, and South Division High School versus Sussex Hamilton, which will top off a great basketball evening, and that's for day 1.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a while since I've been in high school, but I was a cheerleader, and I know how exciting basketball tournaments and competitions can be, and just the whole synergy of being in a gymnasium, you know, in the stands, cheering your team on. So I don't think that enthusiasm has died. I know that college basketball is huge. So I want to come to the game. Our viewers want to come. What's the cost, and how can they find out about tickets?
They can go to www.freshcoastclassic.org.
Okay, and at the website, I can find out about game schedules,
schedule and tickets.
college and tickets and everything.
The thing that we want to highlight is the college fair on Friday.
Okay.
In which we've invited 30+ colleges, and we have a resource fair that's attached to that at the same venue at Wisconsin Lutheran College. Should be a good event. Willie, you would agree that we get a number of participants for that?
For certain. Last year we had over 400 young people participate. This year we want to even get a greater amount of people. We have the breakout sessions where the parents can find out about scholarship opportunities, financial aid requirements, and other things that they may not know about for the young people. And we're trying to bring in more middle school students to get them interested in college at an earlier age so they can get their act together, and one day maybe they'll come back to Milwaukee and play in the Fresh Coast Classic for HBCU. So we're trying to get everybody involved.
That's what I'm talking about. We will see you all that weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, in the stands.
Yes, I'll definitely be in the stands cheering on my old high school, Milwaukee Hamilton.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
All right, thank you.
And that wraps up this edition of Black Nouveau.
Remember, in the coming week, do something to expand your world. Good night.
Good night.